You did it for a few years, and then you dropped out. What did you do between then and making the movie, Floored, the movie?
I started I started a movie about my family, actually, called My Name is Smith.
Okay.
And I knew that I always wanted to kind of make films, and, I was sort of done with trading, so I was like, well, what's the next step? And so I wanted to start a documentary, and I figured, the best story that I knew was the story of my own family, and probably the most patient and accommodating people I could possibly work with would be my mom and my dad and my brother. So I started this film called My Name is Smith, and 5 years later, I'm actually just finally getting to a point where I can start showing it. So,
really?
But I kind of cut my teeth on that film. That was, it's rough. It's not shot terribly well. The sound is kind of iffy in places and everything else. And, it was just, I learned how to make documentaries making that film. So, jump to about 3 years ago.
Sure.
That's when I started, Floored. Now, going back, Steve, who I told you about, who started me trading in the first place, he and I talked to Steve probably, I want to say like 2001, 2002 was the first time that I approached him and said, Steve, somebody really should make a movie about this place and these people. And his initial response was, you're never going to get these guys to talk. You're never going to get the access. You're never going to get this. You're never going to get that. And I think he was right. But after, he actually helped me make My Name is Smith. He helped fund that and helped me kind of, with all of the finance and just being emotional support and everything else. And, so we kind of learned to become filmmakers together making My Name is Smith. And
right.
once I got that film to sort of a pause point, because like I said, it's not completely finished yet. But once I got it to a point where, I was sort of ready to let it sit for a while, that's when he approached me and said, well, what about that trading movie? Do you want to try that now?
Yeah. So
and I said, yeah, absolutely.
I think you're spot on that a lot of folks down on the floor, probably more so today, because there is a smaller family down there that's still active in the pits. They're pretty private people. It's interesting.
Yeah,
you definitely have to have an ego and a persona to step into that place day in, day out for year in, year out. But there's also quite a bit of privacy when it comes to that.
Yeah.
So that's amazing.
Absolutely.
That had to be, as you said, a major obstacle, and he even suggested that, and you thought that. So, what was it about Steve that obviously he was a big part in financing and guiding that changed his mind, and why did he want that story to be told? Because there has to be a champion. The champion could be you, the filmmaker, but you got to have, as you said, a few other people, a few other champions running around, helping you to produce and get that idea flowing and get people excited about it. So what was it that changed the psyche, so to speak, of the collective people that you were able to talk to in the different exchanges in Chicago?
I think what it was, one was just I'd proven myself a little bit, even though My Name is Smith hadn't gotten out there and hadn't got no distribution as of yet, and not a whole lot of people had seen it. That was part of it, was just seeing that I could take something from nothing and actually create a film. So that, just proving that I had the chops, so to speak, was the first thing. But then beyond that, I think it was a couple of other things. I think I already had a pretty good relationship with a lot of different people in the trading community from my work as a web designer and things like that. And I kind of, right out of the box, I came to the situation with, I really want to talk to this person and this person. I think this guy would be great in the film. And one or two of those people actually ended up being in the film. That was another thing. But I think the biggest factor was just simply the sort of change in the environment itself. I mean, from 97, till 2007, the floors had really started to diminish. And not only the traders, but the support staff and the clerks and the runners and the people that sweep the floors, they just really started to thin out. Yeah. And, so then it was just a matter of like, if we don't do it now, it won't happen. Yeah. We need to kind of catch this before it ends. And then the other thing, is just the fact that, people don't necessarily, like you said, they're very private people and very proud people, and rightfully so. And it's, they don't necessarily want to talk about what they're doing. One of the guys in the film, I don't think it made it in the film, but he says, we used to tell people we were cab drivers because we didn't want anyone to know what we were doing. We didn't want anybody to know how good we had it on the floor. So if someone would ask me what I did, I'd tell them I drive a cab, man. So, but as the floor started going away, I think people were hoping that someone would step in and tell their story.
Yes. So.